Hello everyone and welcome back to Model Insights with me, your host Manya. Hope you all are doing well. Our guest for today is a very strong-minded individual who suffered from her share of issues from a very young age. But what's admiring is that it didn't stop her from pursuing what she's best at. Let's welcome our guest and know all about her journey from her herself. Please welcome Diana. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. So let's start with you introducing yourself to our audience.
My name is Diana Donnarumma. I am 28 years old and I live in Buffalo, New York.
All right. So let's start with talking about your modeling journey. How did that begin?
Well, I used to model as a younger child for hair cutting places and, just very little side jobs. It's always something that I really love to do. However, when I was younger, I really wanted to be like my older brother who is a swimmer. So I would always go to his swim practices and, be in the bleachers cheering him on, even though there was no cheering section. It was the practice. But so I kind of went away from the modeling to pursue an athletic career like my brother. And then I would say after my health issues that we're probably going to go into, I took it back up and I realized life is short and you should do what you love.
Right. I think that's great that you decided to pursue modeling. You're pretty good at it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course. So like you mentioned, your health issues. So you clearly have had your share of hardships along your journey. So tell us about about the struggles you faced, about the kind of health issues that you were going through, and what is the thing that kept you going?
So my health issues really began as I was a young girl. Pretty much I was missing a lot of this school. We couldn't really figure out what it was. Doctors would always be like, oh, this is normal for a kid to sleep this much, or it's normal for them not to feel well. But inside, even as a young girl, I knew none of this was normal. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in high school, I developed mono, and it was a really severe case, and I ended up missing 3 months of school and teaching myself from the couch just because I was too weak to go to school. And we knew there was something there, and as deep as we were digging to try to figure out what was wrong, it still wasn't enough. So once I got better from mono, I had moved to Miami to go to college at the University of Miami. Mm-hmm. And we kind of just, we were hoping things would be at bay and that the warm weather would help me. That wasn't so much the case. However, Miami is where I found a lot of my answers. They diagnosed me with a disease called dysautonomia. And basically dysautonomia means anything that you don't control, like breathing, digestion. It's basically dysfunction of the non-controlled issues. So we finally got a diagnosis with that, and I had really low blood pressure, so they ran tests and they told me POTS, and they said really my body developed this autoimmune disease because they think I had Lyme disease with the mono, and it was too much for my body to overcome, so things started shutting down. But I pursued because this was the path that I was kind of directed on as a child, going to a good elementary school, to go to a good middle school, going to a good middle school, to get into a good high school,
right.
Getting into a good high school, to get into a good college, to meet a good person and have a good life, quote unquote. And so this was my path. This is what I was doing. So, but it wasn't until the medical community in my body told me that, no, this really isn't your path. And you're not really in control of your life as much as you think or want to be.
Right.
So after I graduated college, I spent a month in the ICU because I went through this vomiting period, and it actually caused me to pop one of my lungs at work and be taken out by fire rescue. So after that happened, my primary doctor's like, there's just no way. You need to go home. You need to be with your parents. You need to focus on yourself. And for me, following like kind of life's protocol, quote unquote, it was devastating because I started working my first job out of college and I was having success. And now for someone to say your health is basically going to take all that notion of success that you have in your mind away, and you're not going to be able to drive, you're not going to be able to see friends, you're not going to be able to have any normalcy in your life as much as you may want it. So for me, it was absolutely devastating. But that's kind of what led me home, and at home I was able to get more diagnoses, and we figured out my whole GI tract was in complete failure. So when I say that, I mean, I was basically paralyzed from the inside out. My body no longer had the ability to perform peristalsis, which, you know, moving the foods down your digestive tract.
Yes.
Bio 101, right? And instead, anytime I tried to eat or drink anything, I would throw it up because there's nothing moving it down my GI tract. It would just come right back up. So I spent about 4 years on IV nutrition that gave me all the proteins, all the sugar, all the fluid that my body essentially needed, and the fats. Once that happened, we tried everything medically, and I ended up having to choose between a transplant that only 3,000 people in the world have had, or, taking the route of end-of-life care.
So you went for transplant?
I did go for a transplant. I'm still here.
Right.
The transplant was one of the hardest procedures I think I could have ever encountered in my life. It's funny because with the transplant, I thought I would walk into the hospital and everyone would be running around and it would be so chaotic, and they'd be like, jump on the gurney, it's time. However, what really happened was I got there, they checked me in, and they said, the team is going to leave to go get your organs now, so you probably have about 8 hours. I'm like, you're going to keep me in a bed 8 hours thinking of all the possibilities that could happen? And even a nurse is like, you can take a nap. I'm like, no, I can't. I may be taking a nap for the rest of my life. I'm just want to spend time with my family.
It must have been scary, the whole process. It must have been scary for you, for your family, for your friends, for everyone close to you, especially you. Well, so what is it that kept you going?
I think what kept me going was my family, to be completely honest. When I had called in end-of-life care, I just saw how my mom reacted. And I knew that she probably wouldn't hold it together that well if she had lost me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think she would do the best she could, but in my opinion, I don't know. And I know it's happened before because I've spent lots of time with my donor father, but to lose your own child, it must be one of the hardest things that a parent could ever go through.
Definitely.
And going through that and knowing that there were all these difficulties and hardships. I
Right.
think just the love of my family and knowing they had my worst back, they're supporting me, kept me going.
Okay. All right.
Additionally, I also felt that I'm like, I've made it this far going through this much. Like, why would I have fought so hard if I was just going to give up now?
Right. Exactly. So we'll come back to this later on a lighter note if we go back to your modeling career. So how has your journey been so far being in the industry? And what attracts you the most towards modeling?
I'm sorry, you broke up. Sunny. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
This is Sunny.
How cute. He can be in the interview. He can join in.
Sunny, no barking. Could you repeat your question?
I will
Sorry.
repeat the question. I will. On a lighter note, let's move on to a lighter note for a while. If you talk about your modeling career, so how has your journey been so far being in the industry?
Honestly, I have become friends with some of the most amazing people through modeling. The girls who I've met have been so uplifting and positive, and just there supporting each other, which is something that I would think would be very different than the modeling industry.
Right.
So I found it to be very great and very rewarding. Anyone from photographers to other people we may be working in the show with, and a lot of these people that I have become friends with have even come to my wedding, and we've just been there supporting each other.
And congratulations, you've just recently gotten married. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So, speaking about marriage, it was, I think, lovely that, like you mentioned, your donor father, he walked you down the aisle. So I think that's a very beautiful moment. Share that with us.
So my donor father, his daughter passed, my donor, she passed a few days before she was supposed to get married and elope. So my donor father never really had the chance to walk his daughter down the aisle.
Right.
And I, again, thinking that losing a child just must be the worst thing for a parent in the world, and that he didn't have the chance because it was just by a few days. So I asked him, would you want to walk me halfway down the aisle, since Heather's the biggest part of me? And he said he would be honored. So we walked down the aisle together, and we just were able to make my donor part of the ceremony.
That's I think beautiful. That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it. Okay, so coming back again to modeling, we're juggling between modeling and now your wedding again and again. But coming back to modeling, is there any moment about your modeling experience that you're particularly proud of? Something that you'll always remember?
I think one of the coolest memories was, seeing myself in a magazine for the first time.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I'm like, wow, they're gonna put when I was younger, I guess I always had this notion of supermodels being untouchables, that they were celebrities. So to see myself in a magazine was just kind of oh my God, this is so shocking.
So do you like the cover shoot? The magazine must have been a cover or a photo shoot, but do you also do other aspects of modeling or just photo shoots?
I do photo shoots. I do runway. I do promotional modeling and public speaking.
Oh, you do public
Inspiration.
speaking. All right.
But it's really part of modeling, but it goes along with my story and what I do.
So you mentioned public speaking. Tell us about that.
public speaking has been something that has really helped me get through the hard times, because I feel like when I share my story, I can connect to others.
Right.
And a lot of time, I think people are they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to give their disease validity or, kind of come to terms with their disease. However, in my opinion, by sharing my story, I'm making people feel like it's okay to talk about your disease. It's okay to grieve the person you were or the life you thought you would have. And that, even though there are things I can't do, there's still so many things I can do. And I try to help people going through similar situations focus on that.
Okay, all right, that's lovely. So, moving ahead, apart from modeling, you've also started your own company. So tell us about your company, what you do, and your inspiration to begin that company.
So my company is called Resilience Medical, and the goal of the company is really to end the gap between fashion and medicine. So when I first became sick, a lot of people would come up to me and be like, wow, you look great, you're dressed so cute, oh, you look amazing. And I really just didn't understand what they were saying.
Okay.
And now I do, because I realized that many people had this preconceived notation of what a sick person should look like.
Right.
And what they should be able to do and not do, and how they should look. So for me, dressing like I always normally did, maybe my clothes were a little bigger, but I realized that a lot of the medical products take away people's individuality. Right. Which is one of the most important things, especially when you're going through a hardship. If you're being stripped of these core elements of yourself, then it really makes you more of a prisoner of your illness than a victor. So I realized, and I started telling people, yes, I did lose my health, but I didn't lose my passion. I didn't lose my style. I didn't lose my individuality, which is something that I think people need to be aware of. And so with my company, I wanted to make medical products that didn't necessarily look medical.
Okay.
I wanted to improve these medical products to give patients a better quality of life, just like my own. And I figured that if I were having so many problems and issues with these products, then I can't imagine the other people around the world that feel the same way.
Yes.
So when I started it, that's exactly what happened. They're like, thank you for doing something that we need in our community. And now it's grown to preventative medicine. So helping people who are, physically fine, they're not sick, but they want to use products that don't look medical to protect themselves.
That's really innovative. I think that's very new. No one, I don't believe no one's done that before. Am I right?
There have been companies that made products more adaptable.
Okay.
But really they didn't. My company's different in focusing in the individuality of the patient and of the, I think one of the biggest thing is people who are sick, all they want to do is feel normal.
Normal, right.
Don't want to be a walking sign saying, oh, look, I'm sick. Look at all these things I get to take with me because I'm very diseased.
Right.
At least. And so when I got some of the medical products for the first time, the first thing I thought is, where can I burn these?
Okay.
So ugly, I couldn't take it. And my husband's like, what is that? And I'm like, it's gonna be the end of me. That's what it is. So doing these things and making medical products more happy and more usable, I would say, a difference in not only my life, but the lives of so many others that are struggling with the same battles.
That's really great. So do you have any new products that are lined up at the moment? Any current projects that you're focusing on at the moment?
So right now, we're having some pretty cool products coming out. One of them is a magnetic t-shirt. And this would be perfect for anyone that has just had shoulder surgery, if they have a Metaport, if they are recovering really from any surgery, if they're doing dialysis, because you can basically take the magnets off just like of the shirt without ever having to lift your arm or do any movements. So literally it's the easiest thing you could use in that kind of situation, and makes the products a lot more accessible for the patients. And trying, like I'm doing another one that's a men's button-down shirt, so it looks like just a normal button-down shirt, but it has invisible snap tape through the whole thing, so they can unsnap it if they need to. In addition to that, we have a line of hospital gowns that are snapped with closures in the back, so you don't walk through the hospital and flash people.
Okay.
Pockets for cell phones, of course. And I started, my original product was infusion backpacks. So this is a backpack people would use instead of carrying an IV pole. And that was really my first product that I sold with this company. And so that is a continuation.
I think that's really great. I love I especially love the gown one. I think that's really great. I think people will really like that.
I think so too. And I think what's great is it has cheery, uplifting colors. And it's not unisized. Like we all know one size fits no one.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay, all right, that's great. So do you have any professional goal for yourself, be it modeling, be it your company, be it anything that you're doing?
I think I would like to continue what I'm doing, to be completely honest, because I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I get to make my own schedule, and on the days that I don't feel well, I can give myself the time to rest that I need to. I would eventually like to grow my business and do more modeling events. I like New York, or I was supposed to go to New York Fashion Week, but just because of the COVID this year, I was unable to make it. But doing more expansive shows like that, and just being the best me I can be is really just a daily goal.
All right. So like you mentioned, rest. So what do you do to keep your mind off of everything that's happening around you? What are your interests? What do you do in your free time?
So in my free time, I like to, it depends on the day and how I'm feeling. If I'm having a bad health day, I will, just lay on the couch with my dog. For good health days, I really enjoy being outside. I like to paddleboard. I like to do those do-it-yourself projects. I like exploring. And one thing that I really want to do is, I started doing a bucket list before I had my transplant, and I just kind of keep wanting chipping away at that and do things that are exhilarating and exciting, and things that I would probably not do. What I mean by that is, before transplant, I used to, when I had the job in Miami, I worked for a hospice company, and you always hear these people say what they wish they would have done before they passed. So I have the time right now that I can do these exciting things, and I want to do these exciting things, and I just don't want to be one of those people in the end saying, I wish I would have.
Right. No regrets.
I did this.
Okay, so do you have a bucket list? What's on your top? What's the first thing that you would like to do?
I want to go skydiving.
That's great.
I don't know. The more adrenaline, the better, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's very fun. Skydiving is so fun. You always look at these videos of people doing it, and it just makes you want to do it. You know, I think it depends from person to person too, though.
I also want to learn how to windsurf.
Okay. I hope you do all of these things, and I hope you enjoy when you do them.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So you're juggling with so many things. You have your own company. You're doing modeling side by side. So does it ever get too much for you to handle, or you have like days when you just focus on modeling and days when you just focus on your company?
Right. So the good big thing about being my own boss is that, I can plan my day around how I feel. And so when I feel like it's getting too much, I realize that it's okay, not only okay, but it's necessary for me to take a break.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to be able to do what I love, and I'm not going to be able to help others unless I help myself and do what my body needs to do. So that was something that I really struggled with in the beginning, but I'm starting to learn over and over again. But, I think if I really had a day like that where I'm like, I just can't, I would have the support of my family and friends to help me out and be there for encouragement and support.
All right. Okay. So lastly, like you mentioned, you're a person who would wish to have no regrets, but still, if if there was anything about your journey that you could change up till now, what would it be? Even if it's your professional journey, anything that you would look back and you'd want to change?
I don't even know if this is the right answer, but I don't regret going through what I've gone through, because I probably would have been in a corporate job that I didn't love. And I think like I would just still have my head in that pattern of, the next best thing, instead of really learning what I love and developing the skills that I am good at. I think I met the most incredible people while I was sick, and people that I've met have completely changed my life as well.
Okay.
I guess the only thing is I wish I could have omitted the pain that went along with everything. But other than wishing I didn't have the pain or the vomiting or anything physical like that, I wouldn't have changed anything else.
I think that's beautiful. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much, Anna, for being here with WMH today. Your journey is truly inspiring, and it was an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
It was such a pleasure speaking with you too. I appreciate your time so much.
Of course, same here. Thank you so much again. And to everyone else, I will be back next week with another guest. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you, Diana, and all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.